Good day, everybody. This is Emar Sopatu, the Sports Inquirer, and we're joined by Zach Jaeger from Georgia Tech men's cross country. Zach, how are you doing today?
Very good. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining us. I know you're in the middle of preparations for the ACC meet, and we'll get to that in a moment. But you last ran past weekend at the Penn State National Open. You helped the team place fourth as a team. You had a strong run individually. Take me back to that race in Pennsylvania and how the team was able to perform at a good rate.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Penn State was a big meet. We kind of came into it with a lot of anticipation because coming from Roy Griak, the team didn't run as consistently as we wanted to. We wanted to be as a pack. So going into Penn State, the night before, we were like, guys, we know what we want to do. It's really simple, stay together, run our own race. And I think we did a much better job at Penn State and really pulled it together. The team, just the men's side, looked a lot more consistent. And we really pulled it together in the last half of the race for sure.
Yeah, and you had a strong push at the end. I believe you improved up to 10 spots in that kind of final stretch of the run. What about your finish? And was that intentional during the race to have maybe a slower pace and then have a strong kick at the end?
Yes, it was. Definitely. I would have loved to have, been with those guys. I think I could have maybe been on those guys more and been with my teammates more. But it just so happened, that my teammates were there. Henrik and Nick specifically were about 80 meters ahead, and just having them there to see them, it's like, oh, that's my teammates, train with them every day. So I was ready to rock with about 1,200 out. Definitely. The pack running is just very helpful in the end of the race.
Yeah, and how do you guys work on that in training? Because how do you balance running out for your own and for yourself purposes, then also running in a pack and keeping pace with some of your teammates to be in a group, which I believe is more beneficial for you in a team stance?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, for our team specifically, we do workouts in groups. So it's a lot of mental reinforcement of, training with those guys, being able to stay with those guys. And even today we had a tempo run, and I was telling the guys, I was like, we need to treat it like a lifeboat, like you have to stay with those guys and you have to do those guys a service of being with them and staying with them because it helps both of you. So it's a mutual, beneficial thing in the race.
Yeah, and how different is that from your track endeavors when you're running your distances, think 1,500, 3,000, just the longer distances when it's more individualized? How do you check that? Like, how is it being in a team? As I mentioned, because cross country, you're the one who's putting in the time running the miles or running the meters, but you're still in a team competition. How do you deal with that?
Yeah, that's the beauty of cross country is, just being a team sport, it's completely different. So when you get on the track, it's, it's just you out there most of the time. So you're just running against other teams and other guys, and you kind of have to stay focused on just beating them. But that's the beauty of it, cross country.
Yeah, and how's this year been for you individually and as a team this year with the more traditional cross country and running schedule as opposed to last year, where I know you did a little bit in the fall, but then you had a break and you may have done some stuff in the spring, had to mix that in with your track competitions. But how has it been having a traditional full cross country season?
Oh yeah. I think last year, being the way it was, we started strong in the season, but by championship season, I just don't think we ran how we wanted to run. Individually, I think I left a lot on the table to be, left out there. But going into the season, I think the mentality for me and the whole team has just been completely different. We're attacking it, wanting to be as good as we can be. And we actually lost a guy, Andy Kent, who was actually, top. I think he was 71st yesterday in the nation, which I think he will do a lot better than that. He was a transfer to Colorado, and we gained a lot of, insight from him because his goal was to go to nationals. So that's the big goal right now for us, is just to put everything into it and get to nationals. So
Yeah, and it's a big step in qualifying for nationals as a team and but individually is the ACC Championships in South Bend, Indiana, on October 29th. You mentioned you did a taper run, and you have a few days before the meet. How are preparations going in general for you and the squad?
Oh, that was actually a tempo run today.
Tempo run.
But next week, yeah, we're definitely going to hit that taper hard next week. Not too hard, but into championship season a little more, we'll do it. But yeah, next week is going to be pre-meet stuff, getting ready. So
Yeah, and just what do you anticipate when you get to South Bend? Have you run? And this goes in general. Have you scouted the course? Do you know what it's going to be like? And with that, do you maybe instead of running at Piedmont, do you maybe head towards one of the more hilly or mountain areas in Metro Atlanta? How are the preparation scouting the course going?
yeah, I've never been to the course. I don't think. I mean, I know. I mean, Coach Strosky has seen it, I'm sure. But from what I've heard, it's flat and it's fast. And the races we've run at GRIAC and Penn State, those have been some of the hardest courses in the country with huge hills. It's hard to get into a rhythm. So this is going to be we're going to be ready for that fast and flat coming from what we've raced. And as far as training, we'll go to Kennesaw Mountain on Sundays to do long runs, and that is about as hilly as you can get in Georgia. And Piedmont Park, yeah, there's some hills out there, so we're ready, yeah, for sure.
Are those your favorite places to run in Atlanta, or some other places you like to? Because the running community is very strong in Atlanta with
Oh yeah,
the track club, and obviously the Peachtree Road Race is a big event. What about you individually? Where do you like to run, even if it's not within Atlanta, maybe the state or even nationally?
oh yeah. I mean, as far as Atlanta, I love the Beltline. You can go out there. There's a lot of people. It's a great energy, and like you said, there's a lot of runners out here. Um, and yeah, Kennesaw is beautiful too. There will be some beautiful days. It's clear skies. But as far as places I love to run, I'd say Colorado, Boulder, and Colorado Springs for sure.
I was going to mention that because I've spoke to Claire Moritz and some other runners. They go to Colorado for the off season, or they were doing that this off season. Do you get
Mhm.
together as a group and do that, or is that more individual? And also is Colorado because of the altitude, or where the Olympic Training Center is? What leads to people going to Colorado so much?
Yeah, it's for us, it's the altitude. Yeah, and I mean, uh, outside of that, it's happens to be super dry, super nice to run, beautiful temperature. So yeah, it's perfect to run. And we had, I think, 18 people in one house, not at one time, but cycling through. So at most, we might have had like 13 people in one house. But that trip really changed a lot of our mentalities. And of course, we're in the best shape of our lives. I think everyone who went on that trip is in the best shape of our lives from it. Um, and that mentality of knowing like, oh, we did that training, we executed it every day and put all of our energy into it, sleep, nutrition, getting out, executing the workout correctly, focusing on recovery. I think we all did a great job. And I think that's going to really carry us through this championship season.
Well, Zach, we appreciate the time. Thank you for speaking with us, and hopefully we can catch up after the ACCs.
Yes, sir. Thank you.